Hello, Aries. I don't know where you're hearing this from. Maybe on your morning drive, while making coffee, or in the stillness of a restless night. But if you're here, it means something in the universe is trying to reach you. And the message is clear. This week, there's a gift. Not for everyone, only for you. A moment that seems invisible, but will quietly shift the way you relate. To abundance, to self-worth, to what it means to feel truly supported. You don't need to understand it right away. Just stay and listen. Because what you're about to step into won't be like any week you've lived before. Sometimes a breeze moves through your life, not to take anything away, but to awaken something you forgot inside yourself. And this week, the wind is shifting and it's calling your name. Not every wind is random. Some winds pass through your life, only to stir something inside you, gently, just enough to make you pause. As the world rushes by, just enough to remind you it's time to listen. Aries, something is shifting this week, and it's not out there, not in the noise and chaos of the world. It's happening within, where your soul has been whispering, but you haven't been still enough to hear. The universe is opening a doorway. It isn't loud. It doesn't glow in flashing lights, but it carries a frequency, one that only the awakened can feel. Can you feel it? It shows up in a stranger's glance, in the sound of morning wind through your window, in that strange little pull, the one you can't quite name. This week isn't like any other week you've lived, not because so many things will happen, but because of one thing, one moment that's been perfectly placed, just for you. A moment you might not see with your eyes, but one that will quietly shift the way you walk through life, and especially how you relate to money, not as something to chase, but as energy, a living, breathing reflection of how you see your worth. This isn't just a week about getting richer, it's a week of rebirthing. Your relationship with your value, what you give, and what you allow yourself to receive, and the choices, every single one, that shape the quality of your abundance. Have you ever asked yourself, why does money come and go like the wind? Why do you sometimes earn so much, yet still feel empty? Why do people who seem successful often feel hollow inside, while those who have less often carry more joy? Money by itself is not the reward, it's the tool. And it doesn't arrive because you need it. It arrives when you've become ready to use it wisely. When you're ready to treat money like light, not like chains, that's when the universe begins to send you the resources you're truly worthy of. And Aries, that moment is now. No one else is standing at this threshold. Just you and your soul in a sacred meeting with a doorway that opens only once. There is a gift coming, an opportunity, but before it arrives, you'll feel a quiet ripple. A subtle shift from something seemingly small, carrying a coded message sent straight from the stars. It may come as a random text, a flash of financial luck, or a situation that causes you to lose a little, only so you can receive something far greater than you imagined. And if you're not calm enough, you might miss it, that thing no one else gets. No one else gets this. So how do you know if money is moving toward you? How do you not only see the opportunity, but catch it at the right moment? Not with your eyes, not with logic, but with something primal, something ancient, a knowing that sees without looking, hears without sound, and knows because it's being called from within you. That feeling, it'll come fast, and that's your signal, the first whisper that money is shifting and it's heading in your direction. A quiet movement, but powerful, and if you let it pass, it may not come again. But if you pause and you listen and you move when it calls, then a door will open, not just any door, a door into a new way of being, where you're no longer chasing wealth, you're commanding the energy of it. And just when you think everything is still the same, you'll notice something different. The air will feel strange, the rhythm of life slightly altered, and somewhere inside you, a soft click, like a door has just been unlocked. And that is when you step into what comes next, where money begins to move, but not in the way you used to know it, in a way only your soul could ever understand. Money has never just been numbers. It's a frequency, a flow, an undercurrent that moves through every part of our lives. And this week, something about that current is shifting. Not because you did something wrong, but because you're getting closer to a threshold that few people ever reach in this lifetime. It's the doorway of understanding, a space where you begin to see your relationship with money from the inside out, how you perceive it, how you feel it, how you exchange energy through it. Aries, you're not as lacking as you think. You've simply never stopped long enough to look at the energy money reflects back from within you. This week, something will happen. At first, it may feel unsettling, an expense you didn't expect, A financial commitment that catches you off guard, or maybe just the quiet fear that you're slowly losing control. And then, a few days later, something else arrives, something to balance the scale, a chance, a financial surprise, a gift from someone you never saw coming. That's not random. It's the rhythm of the universe. The universe is testing you, not to punish, but to see if you'll react like the old version of you, to see if you're ready to choose again. How you respond when money comes or when it leaves. Most people live their whole lives in financial reflex. Money in, they celebrate. Money out, they panic. But that's not mastery. Mastery begins when you learn to master your reaction to money. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet room, light coming through a small window. There's an unopened envelope on the table. You don't know if it holds good news or bad. And then you open it. It's a check, a bank notice, or maybe just a handwritten line from someone who once hurt you financially. What do you feel first? Joy, fear, tension, or doubt? That first feeling is the mirror of your true relationship with money. And this week, Aries, the universe wants to hand you a subtle but powerful test, not to take anything away, but to ask, are you ready to change who you are in this relationship? Are you ready to stop being the one who depends and become the one who decides? Are you ready to stop asking, will the money come, and start asking, who will I become when it does? Money isn't magic, but the way you receive it and use it can create magic for your life. And for someone else's, there's a part of you that's just now beginning to understand this. Not loudly, not clearly yet, just a soft sense that you're approaching new ground, a different landscape where you no longer have to fight to survive, but start to co-create with the universe from a place of wisdom, clarity, and trust. Because truth is, money never abandons the one who lives in alignment with their true values. And sometimes, losing a little is exactly what creates the space for something much greater to arrive. Think about it. If your hands are still clinging to the old wallet, how will you reach for the new door? If you're holding onto old spending habits, old beliefs about lack, how can you rise into a new level of being where you don't just earn money, you attract it? That door is slowly opening this week. But Aries, the universe doesn't reward those who wait. It moves with those who choose, those who act, with the deep knowing that they're not just here to hold money, they're here to carry light through the way they use it. And right when that clarity starts to take root, when you're no longer afraid of every rise and fall, when you've shifted into gratitude and intention, that's when a new situation will appear, one that asks for a choice, a question no one else can answer for you, not in your wallet, not in your bills, but in the energy you hold as you stand at the edge of a decision only you can make. And in that moment, you'll realize the key was never in asking which path is safer. The real question is, which path leads me closer to the version of me I'm proud to become? Because the real test, Aries, was never about the money, it was about the decision you're about to make. When the universe puts you face to face with a choice you can no longer postpone, there are moments in life that seem just like any other day. A random conversation, a quiet nod, a pause between two sentences, an email you didn't notice right away, a stranger's glance that disappears just as quickly. But then, weeks or even months later, you realize everything changed in that one instant, and nothing in your life has been the same since. Aries, this week carries a moment like that, a choice, a decision, brief, harmless at first glance, but it will redraw the map for your next 3 to 6 months. You could call it an opportunity, or you might see it as a test, but truly, it's a moment of faith. You may be invited into something new, a project, an offer, a trip, a relationship, something tempting enough to stir your heart, but unclear enough to shake your certainty. On one side, the safe option, familiar, predictable, where you feel in control. On the other, something that makes your heart skip a beat, a quiet pull from deep inside. Logic can't explain. It's not easy to choose because adults often carry more fear than hope. And sometimes, what's right for your soul looks nothing like what others would advise. But this moment, it's yours, only yours. No one else stands at this crossroads with you, just your heart and the whisper of something real, something deep within you asking, will you dare to trust something that has no guarantees but feels like home? Everything you've been through, the wins, losses, the awakenings, has led you here. The right decision isn't always the one with less risk. It's the one that feels more true to who you are. Picture this, you're standing in a forest. There are two paths in front of you. One is marked, clear, well lit, the other uncertain, rougher, but something about it makes your heart race, not out of fear, but because you just know this is your path. This week, the universe brings you to that very moment. No sirens, no signs, just one quiet question rising from within. If I truly believe in this journey, what will I choose? You don't need the answer right away. Just don't turn away. Take one step back. Breathe. Silence the noise and listen, not to figure out what to do, but to feel what's still alive inside you. A decision born from that kind of listening is always the right one. Even if the outcome isn't what you expect, it will lead you to a braver, clearer, deeper version of yourself. And sometimes that alone is enough. Sometimes just choosing something bigger than fear is what opens the door ahead, because when you step out of your comfort zone, the universe starts rearranging the pieces. Life begins to move toward you instead of you always chasing it. And then, in the moment right after you make your choice, when everything still feels quiet and you don't yet know what comes next, there will be a flicker, a soft signal, like something unseen is approaching. You won't know what it is. You won't be able to name it, but it'll give you chills, not because you're afraid, but because you know a part of you just woke up. And in that stillness, intuition will begin to speak. Not loud, not demanding, just a gentle nudge, a quiet knock on the door, but enough for you to know. From this point on, your decisions must come from a place logic can't reach. Intuition doesn't speak in words. It doesn't need sound or logic or explanation. It only needs one thing, your stillness. And when your mind is finally quiet, it begins to speak, softly, like a breeze brushing the back of your neck, like a chill but not from cold, a strange feeling, as if you suddenly remembered something you were never taught. This week, Aries, the universe is sending you signs, not in human language, but in the language of the soul, a language you once knew well before life made you forget. A number keeps appearing, 111, 333, 1010, a dream that seems random, but you remember every detail, a phrase from the radio or TV right in the moment you're hesitating. You might call it coincidence, but really, these are pieces of a sacred map being drawn just for you. You don't need to fully understand the map. You just need to trust that it's guiding you exactly where you need to go. The feeling will come first. The clarity will come later, like standing in front of a house you've never seen, but something about it feels familiar, right, like home. That's intuition. That's your soul speaking. The question is, will you trust it? Do you have the courage to follow something that doesn't show up on paper? Something no one else can feel but you. This week, that question will echo over and over again. No one can answer it for you. Only you know what makes you feel truly alive. Aries, intuition is the muscle of your soul. The more you listen, the stronger it becomes. The more you doubt, the quieter it gets. But no matter how you treat it, it never leaves you. It stays, like a childhood friend who never gave up on you, even when you move too far, too fast to hear their voice anymore. This week is your chance to return. Place your hand on your chest, take a slow breath, and ask one simple question, one that might change your entire life. Where is my heart trying to lead me? Don't wait until you understand everything. Clarity never comes before faith. It comes after. You don't need to be sure. You just need to feel that something inside you is beginning to feel right. A quiet knowing that if you don't follow it, you'll regret it. Not because you missed an opportunity, but because you missed yourself. And when you take those first steps, even if you're still trembling, the universe will respond with more signs, stronger signals. From that moment on, you're no longer just someone looking for signs. You become someone who lives in the light of intuition. And that is the beginning of true freedom. Freedom from the noise of the outside world. Freedom from the fear of being wrong. Freedom from advice that was never meant for you. Because every soul vibrates at a different frequency. Every path has its own rhythm, and every person has their own sacred guidance. And you, Aries, are starting to hear yours. It may whisper, but it's clear. It may feel fragile, but it's unmistakable. And then, just as you're learning to trust that voice within, someone will step into your life. Not loudly, not quietly, but right on time. They won't bring money. They won't bring a gift you can hold, but they'll bring something far more rare, something money can never buy, an impact that touches your destiny. Life has a way of sending us the right person right when we need them most, even if we never saw it coming. They don't arrive to stay forever. They come to press gently on a blind spot you've forgotten within yourself. This week, Aries, someone like that will step into your path, someone carrying a vibration, money can't buy. Yet it could shift the way you feel, about worth, about abundance, and about yourself. It might be someone from your past, returning with an unspoken apology or a missing piece from a chapter you thought was already closed, or maybe there's someone entirely new walking in like a soft breeze, but leaving a mark so deep it feels like they've always belonged in your story. You won't need to try to recognize them. Your heart will know from the very first moment, because they're not here to convince you of anything. They're here to reflect a part of you that was once so alive, so honest, so confident, but for some reason you left it behind. Sometimes you don't need another opportunity. You just need someone to remind you of who you were and who you still are, deep down. This person might awaken a new financial vision in you, not through advice, but through their presence, the way they see you, or the way you feel. When you're next to them, something inside you will be reactivated. Maybe it's the confidence you lost after a financial failure. Maybe it's the dream you shelved because life got too busy, or maybe it's the quiet knowing that you deserve a life of openness and ease, not through force, but through connection to your true self. They won't stay forever, and that's how it's meant to be, because that brief encounter, that's the spark, the ignition of a flame you thought had gone out. They're the push that launches you into a new level of awareness, and when they leave, they won't take anything from you. They'll leave you more whole, more clear, more awake, like waking up one morning, looking in the mirror and suddenly realizing you've grown far more than you ever thought. Aries, this meeting is no accident. It's a divine touch point, a whisper from the universe, saying it's time to stop shrinking and start stepping forward as the one who owns this life. You don't need to beg for more resources. You only need to remember you are the resource. And once you believe that, the world will start believing with you. And just when you let this encounter open something new inside you, something even deeper will begin to unfold. A thin veil will be lifted, a layer of dust will be brushed away, and a truth, one that's always been there but you were never ready to face, will finally begin to rise. Not in words, not in feelings, but in one undeniable moment where everything you've avoided starts to speak. True wealth doesn't come from the numbers in your bank account. It comes from the freedom you carry in your heart, the freedom to know who you are, what you want, and what no longer belongs to you. This week, Aries, a truth will be revealed, soft but strong enough to shake the old beliefs you've been carrying for years. It might be a secret you've been keeping in a relationship, an emotion you once denied, a financial failure you never dared to name, or maybe just a quiet realization you're no longer the person you once thought you were. This truth won't arrive in words. It'll arrive in a silent moment, a moment when you find yourself standing in front of the mirror, and for the first time you don't look away. You might suddenly remember a sentence someone you once loved said to you, or a small detail in a contract you skipped over, or the sense that you once turned your back on an opportunity just because you didn't believe you were worthy of it. And in that moment, you'll understand. It wasn't the world that blocked your abundance. It wasn't someone else who held you back. It was the lack of honesty with your own self when you kept trying to make everything look fine while your insides were drowning. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's the only wound that can open the door to healing. This truth, it might make you cry. It might leave you sitting in silence for hours. It might make you want to run far away, to think, to feel, to breathe, but it's not here to hurt you. It's here to free you from the illusions you clung to just to feel safe, to free you from the compromises that cost you your inner light, to free you from the fear of rejection, failure, or not being enough. Because real wealth only begins when you stop pretending you're okay and start living someone honest, free, and whole. Aries, this is your turning point. A new map will unfold in front of you. Not a map drawn with words or arrows, but one made of feeling, courage, and the one question that matters now that I know the truth. What will I do with it? You're no longer drifting in someone else's dream. You are the one shaping your own reality. From this moment on, you get to choose everything again. The beliefs you hold, the people you walk with, the way you earn money, and most of all, what abundance truly means to you. The truth doesn't make you poorer. It only frees you from everything that no longer serves your soul. You can walk forward from here, lighter, brighter, freer, and richer, even if no one else sees it yet, because real wealth always begins with being honest with yourself. And when the truth is finally placed on the table, when there's nothing left to hide, the universe will pause for a moment. It'll step back and watch, Not because its work is done, but because it's handing full power back to you. The power to choose what's worth keeping, the power to release what's not, and the power to choose the direction for your next chapter, one that's no longer led by fear, but by something far greater, awakening. Some gifts don't come wrapped in ribbons or handed to you in a box. They arrive through experience, through tears, through restless nights no one ever saw, and through the silent moments when you held everything in and said nothing. This week, Aries, the gift meant for you is not a number, it's a new level of awareness, a higher vantage point where you begin to see the world with more clarity, more softness, and a wider view. You've walked through the emotions, you've faced the choices, you've felt the shifts, the trials, and the doubt, and now you're standing before a reward. No one can ever take from you a version of yourself that's finally awakened. You might not see it clearly, like a paved road, but you'll feel it like the first drop of summer rain falling into your open hand, like someone calling your name, not with their voice, but with their eyes. The transformation has begun. It's no longer happening outside of you. It's happening in how you respond to the world, in how you speak to yourself, and in how you begin to listen to the smallest things with the reverence of a soul that has matured. Aries, this gift isn't given to everyone. The universe doesn't distribute by luck. It moves by vibration. And you this week have raised yourself to that vibration. You are the only one receiving this gift because you were the one who dared to go deeper where others turned back. You were the one who healed in silence, who believed in silence, who chose the light even when nothing guaranteed it would ever appear. You didn't get to choose when the gift would come, but you do get to choose how you step forward to receive it. Maybe you don't need to change the world. Maybe you just need to change how you show up in it, with wholeness, with trust, with a quiet, steady light from within. And when you live as a gift, everything else begins to find you. Naturally, no more forcing, only attracting. No more control, only alignment. Thank you for allowing your heart to walk this path, for having the courage to look within, and for staying until the very last second and where true change finally begins. Wishing you a week of fullness, a week where you not only receive a gift from the universe, but realize you are the gift the world has been waiting for. Namaste, from my heart to yours. I'll see you on the next bright step of your journey.